This is an honest review of Choo Choo Charles. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so Choo Choo Charles is a first-person game where you build and level up this train to take on this demonic spider train named Charles. But before we continue, listen, if you're a fan of unadulterated, honest reviews, guys, of AAA, AA, and indie games with maximum prejudice, and that seems like an interest to you, then guys, please consider doing a drive-by on the YouTube cult. Listen, just poke your head out and say, hey, mama, subscribe, pop a bell, and childlike buttons. I'm gonna destroy you today. So that way you don't miss any of my uploads. Alright, let's get on with the review. So you play as this guy, who I don't know who his name is, and you are hired on, or you aren't hired on, but you were somehow invited to come to this island to help these people be rid of this evil spider demonic train named Charles. And the tone in this game is, it's serious, but it's not. It doesn't take itself seriously overall, but it is kind of, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, it's like it wants you to be immersed at the same time. It's ridiculous watching just this spider train. I mean, it's an evil version of Thomas, right? This is Thomas's like alter ego, and so it's your job to kill to kill Charles. And so how do you do that? Well, you have a train that you get right in the beginning, and it's the entire game is based around you leveling up this train. Now, just to go ahead and to get this out of the way, this game is $20 and it's made by one guy. One guy made this game and it's for $20. So here's the problem. It's $20 and you get around 2 hours worth of gameplay, and that's assuming that you get all of the upgrades. Or I'm sorry, not all the upgrades. If you do all of the side missions, including the main mission, it'll take you around 2 hours. Right, and probably even less than that. It's not a very difficult game, and the progression, it's very easy. The progression's very easy. The progression is directly tied to leveling up your train and collecting these eggs. Now, what you have to do in order to kill Charles is you need to collect 3 eggs and then bring them to the center of the map. Charles will be summoned permanently, and then you have to kill him. Now, while you're out around the world, Charles will randomly appear. You have to fight him off for a little bit. Once you do X amount of damage, he then runs off. Here's the problem that I found, guys, is that when you're fighting Charles, pretty much all you need is the flamethrower, because the flamethrower is so busted in this game that it will stagger Charles so bad that by the time he takes the damage and he slows down, the flamethrower will actually cool down enough where by the time he's up at you again, you can just toast him. What do I mean cool down? You can only hold each weapon down so long before it overheats, like, a real firearm operates. And so it's kind of just, once you get the flamethrower, you don't need anything else. You start with a machine gun, which has really good, when you're firing all the weapons, the screen feels good. The weapons all feel great when you're shooting them. There's a flamethrower, there's the machine gun, and then there's a missile launcher. I honestly thought the missile launcher was just pointless, to be honest. But once you get the flamethrower, you've pretty much won the game, because all you need to do is upgrade your train. So, upgrading the train consists of armor, speed, and weapon damage. You use scrap to upgrade all of these things. How do you get scrap? You can find it all throughout the world. You can find it in these crates, or you can just find it laying around. The biggest way to get scrap, though, is by doing the side missions. When you do the side missions, you get a whole lot of scrap. And so you use the scrap to upgrade each item 10 times. Once it upgrades 10 times, you've capped it out. And, that's it. You've maxed out that item. There's also customization of your train. So, well, it's very loose customization. By customization, I just mean you can change the color. And all of the weapons you can't use at the same time. So you have to swap them on and off. And that's how that works. Most of the time, like I said, I was just using the flamethrower, and then that was that. You find the paint cans all throughout the game. It's kind of all you have to do is click on it, and then it just repaints everything. It's really simple. But navigating the world itself, what is that like? So you're always on the train track, and sometimes you'll come up to these intersections where you've got to jump out and flip the switch or the lever. That way you can change directions on the track. And then that's that. If you ever want to stop, you just pull the lever, because you can either pull the lever to stop, go forward or backwards, and then that'll stop it, or you can just jump off while it's going, at Mach 5, and the train will automatically stop, and you'll take no damage from that. It's just kind of ridiculous, but and then that's how you can operate the train. Now, there's also a stealth aspect to this game, guys. So when you're running around, there are these freaks who I think are the Charles cult, and they're just they have like their own little layers all throughout the world. And when you're going to get these eggs that I spoke about in the beginning, they are there sort of defending these eggs, okay? And guys, the stealthing in this is so bad. I've never seen stealth done so bad. And that's because it's just, you can't crouch, but you can lean. And the leaning is so bad. What happens is that you lean, but it zooms in really hard. And I don't understand why it's like that. Just let me lean, just kind of poke around the corners, I don't need to zoom in. It's awful. And there's also no weapons, so you can't fight against these people. So you have to stealth, but again, why is there no crouch? Why is there no crouch in this? It can't be that hard to code. I don't believe it. It's awful, guys. The stealthing is awful. The combat in regards to these, there is no combat. You can't combat with them unless you lead them back to your train. Then you can get on the gun and mow them down. But there's no combat outside of that, which is just why? Why? I don't know. So then that leads into the actual characters in the world. What do they like to interact with? They're pretty much just gimme quests. You go and you do something really basic, and they give you just a boatload of scrap. Now, their mouths aren't animated, so you'll talk to them, but their mouths don't move. I don't know. This stuff, I'm not a programmer by any means. I don't know what it takes to do this. Again, it's only one guy that made this game. I'm actually impressed by, just what this one dude's been working on. But my world, the game doesn't feel complete. It feels like there's a lack of content. The content is too short. It just doesn't feel like there's enough. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff in this. The progression in building the train, you feel like a scrap addict. All you want is all of the scrap. You're just running around like a fucking madman, just collecting as much scrap as you possibly can. And upgrading your train feels good. You get to see it. There's an actual aesthetic change whenever you buy more armor for it. You see your train get bigger meaning just thicker and with more armor on it. And that looks good. It's all really good. But overall, listen, $20, there is no way this game is worth $20. Not a shot. I would rather dig through just moldy chicken. I don't even know if chicken can get moldy, but that's what I can think of. Just slimy, overrotten chicken and shove my face in the bag and go brrr, then pay $20 for this. It's just, and I can die from bad chicken too, guys. Well, maybe it's not that bad, but you know what I'm saying. It's just, yeah. It's not worth $20. It's way too expensive for $20. The content itself is not worth. Again, you get 2 hours max. The content, it's not there. I didn't notice really any bugs, so that's good. It just feels incomplete, to be honest. I don't think this game should have been released. If anything, maybe early access. But this feels like a $4.99 game. That's exactly what this feels like for $4.99. I could see buying this, but even $9.99, even that seems too much just for what you get. So, yeah. So there you go, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.